This is a proud presentation of Mississippi River Radio Sports, the sports authority.
And now, at last,
it's time for the Redhawks Coaches Show on the SEMO ESPN Radio Sports Network.
I have more to tell you.
The Southeast Coaches Show airs every Tuesday at noon on ESPN 92.9 FM and 1220 AM. Live from Wings, etc. in Cape and Jackson. This is your chance to delve deep into the Redhawks football season with head coach Tom Matukewicz.
Now, ladies and gentlemen,
let's go live to Wings, etc.
Let's go!
Right here on SEMO ESPN.
Welcome in another edition of the Redhawks Coaches Show. We are live at Wings, etc. in Cape Girardeau, and can you smell the food? It smells great. Now, if you're hungry and you are getting set to go somewhere for lunch, or you haven't decided if you're going anywhere for lunch, go ahead, put the work down, grab the car keys, head on over. We're in the Cape Girardeau location. We're right in front of West Park Mall. If you know where Steak and Shake is in Cape Girardeau, Wings, etc. shares a parking lot. Shakes. We're right there. You can join us, and we hope that you do for lunch. In addition to their award-winning wings, and you say, what award did they win? Well, they won the Southeast Missourian People's Choice Award, the best wings in Southeast Missouri. They've got them here both for dine-in or carry-out. They have a full menu, much more than their award-winning wings. They've got fresh burgers, wraps, subs, quesadillas, entree salads. If you'd like smoked ribs, they have that as well. And their appetizer lineup includes their ultimate nachos, their deep-fried pickle spears. You'll notice the high-def TVs. They've got the best sports programming here. Want to watch some Cardinal baseball tonight? A huge Cardinal game. This is the place, Wings, etc. You can check out the NFL Sunday ticket, the college football ticket. It is all right here at Wings, both in Cape and Jackson. We're in the Cape location today. We'll be back in Jackson next week, so hopefully you'll join us over there. Coach Tom Matukewicz is here. We're going to talk with the Redhawks. All-conference middle linebacker Roper Garrett is here. He is from Farmington. His brother Ryder is on the team. We're going to talk with him. He is moving up, by the way, on that all-time tackles list. One more tackle for Roper Garrett on Saturday against Eastern Illinois, and he will get to 300. He is 8th on the all-time tackle list. Murray State. Redhawks coming off a big conference opening win over Murray State Saturday at Stewart Stadium. Coach, welcome to the show. One thing you and I talked about prior to the game, we hope that horse isn't running around the track very much. They only let him loose twice last week.
I know it. And I tell you what, he went to the bathroom right outside our locker room. So if I see that horse one more time, I'll punch it in the face. But no, I'm obviously kidding. But it was a great way to start OVC play, and it's on the road. We handled the day trip well. I was concerned about traveling day of. It's a night game, and we took the ball to start the game, went right down and scored. And so, we didn't have that hangover from the Indiana State. I thought we traveled well. We didn't seem tired. We handled the heat. We didn't have any of the hydration issues that we've had, in the previous games. And so I think we had a really good week of preparation, which led us to start the game well and play good ball.
We don't ever talk about the opening coin toss, but from what I've seen, it's rare for you to win a toss and take the ball. You usually
that was
defer.
the second time since I've been the head coach here.
What was the thought process there that you wanted to get the offense out there?
I just was really feeling it was a gut feel. I just really felt like our offense could move the ball right away and switch the field position if nothing else. I think our kickoff return unit is up there a little bit. They haven't done well on kickoff unit, so I just wanted to start the game that way, and that is definitely not how I normally do it, and it worked out.
Yeah, we were watching the opening coin toss as we always do from the press box, and I win the toss and take the ball. It's odd, but it worked out. You take the opening drive down the field. It ends up being 14 plays, 75 yards. You've had a lot of drives like that, 14, 15, 16 plays. Early in the season, you were settling for more field goals on those long drives. How good was it to take it that far down the field, eat up a bunch of clock, and then get it in the end zone?
I mean, that's exactly how you couldn't have asked for anything different. And so, what was interesting, I saw a stat where we're 17th in the country in first downs, making first downs. We doubled up Murray. So we had 26 first downs. They had 13 first downs. And so that means we're moving the ball and third down conversions and all those things. And we were stalling out early in the year, but we were able to punch it in on that one to start the game. And so I think we're right there on offense. And I think at any game now, I really think we can have a breakout.
I think what is very interesting is the passing edge was not high in this game, yet your third down conversion was excellent.
Yeah.
And that's usually, those two stats usually don't correspond well. If you've got a low completion percentage, you're usually probably not very good on third down. The first 2 weeks, I think you were ranked last in the league in third down conversion. Back-to-back weeks where you've been really good on third down. 11 of 23 on third down on Saturday.
Yeah, it was huge. And our defense did a great job on third down. I think that is the best thing that we're doing. I think the completion issue had to do with protection a little bit too. And I'm really going to challenge our O-line and D-line this week. They got to play better.
It looked like you challenged the offensive line during the game.
Yeah, so we – and that's going to continue here at 2:30 when I have this team meeting, and just excited, man. We got that W. We're 1-0 in the conference, and I'm excited about the things that we got to do to get better, because I think we can get better at them, and this is what we want. We want to be undefeated in the conference with a huge home game that has implications on the title. So this is what we wanted, and it's here, and it's going to be great weather, and hopefully we got great fans, because I do feel like since I've been here, you go back to SELA, to Tennessee State when they were ranked last year against SIU, and we feed off that crowd. Even Indiana State, our first 3 games, their records right now is 8-2.
Indiana State is ranked 24th this week. They just beat Illinois State,
yeah.
So they're top 25.
So the only
now.
2 losses that our first 3 opponents have had is FBS win. They lost to FAU and a loss to Minnesota. So we've played some really good people, and so we're a little battle tested. We've had 4 2-minute drills happen every single game, and so we're ready for a close game, and we gotta play well to get it to be a close game, because this is a really good football team. But I'm ready. I know our kids are ready, and we just got to make sure we focus on the details of how to play well.
This is a really good program. We'll talk a lot more about Eastern Illinois. 7 OVC championships, most recently 3 years ago, where they won back-to-back titles. That's before Jacksonville State won the last 2 OVC championships. For those who don't know how the game finished at Murray State last week, left on the clock. They're lining up for a 38-yard field goal. You have a 1-point lead, 17-16. You called a timeout to ice their kicker. You still had another timeout at your disposal. What is it like as a coach sitting there knowing that the entire game depends on whether this kid makes or misses a field goal? How nerve-wracking is that to stand on the sideline? It all comes down to whether the kid makes it or misses it.
I mean, it's the profession we signed up for. We're coaching 18 to 21-year-olds, and at the end of the day, you just focus on your job, and we talked to the players about what they needed to do on that play, and it worked out. So there's, they're hard to come by. So when he did miss it, there's a lot of excitement, and just thrilled that we finally got that win this year.
So you take the opening kickoff, you take it right down the field, punch it in the end zone. Tremaine McCullough on the pass play from Jesse Hoskett, an 11-yard touchdown pass. That really doesn't tell the story, because Tremaine McCullough gets hit short of the goal line. He's only 170 pounds. His forte is not breaking tackles. He's not a power runner. He's not breaking free from a lot of guys that have him wrapped up. But man, he broke free on that. It looked like he was going to be stopped short, and somehow he broke away and made the end zone.
Yeah, he obviously he can make you miss, but he doesn't break a lot of tackles, and he just kind of wheeled himself in. Broke a lot of those arm tackles and just found a way to get it in the end zone. And we talked about explosive plays and at just the score, you said, well, we didn't have any. We had 12. We didn't capitalize on a couple of red zone opportunities, but we actually made some big plays that will get you excited, whether it's Tyler McLemore's or, they're obviously Adrian and those guys. We didn't have the long runs that we're accustomed to a little bit, but really we accomplished that. It was just that we failed in the red zone.
Well, the big plays you're referring to, Tyler McLemore, 31-yard reception. Wilkerson had a 19-yard catch. Tremaine, a 24-yard catch in addition to his 11-yard touchdown. 22-yard reception to Adrian Davis. So, I mean, you're talking about plays that are going down the field.
Yeah, exactly. So, we got to continue to do that. I think what's happened on offense, because everybody wants to know, well, Coach, why aren't we scoring more points? And what's happened is it just comes down to lack of execution. We all of a sudden call a play in the red zone. We don't block a guy. He's through there, and now it's 2nd 14 and the drive stalls. If, a bad play needs to be a negative or not a negative. It needs to be 0 gain. It can't be a -4 where it stops the drive. And so we got to continue to just get our kids to lock in on their job and execution and not making the mental errors on offense.
So Murray State answers your touchdown with a touchdown, a 67-yard pass play to Demetric Johnson. That play went 67 yards. The week before, it was a 75-yard touchdown to a running back. This is to a running back. They had another 67-yard pass play to their other running backs. They had several catches by running backs out of the backfield for first down. What is it right now about the running backs making plays in the passing game?
Well, it's mental errors. It comes down to eye discipline. All of a sudden you're peeking in the end zone and you think, well, this guy's just going to run an out route or something because he's a running back, and then all of a sudden he turns it up the sideline, and because we had lack of discipline or fail in the fundamentals, they get the big play. And so that's our kryptonite. It is what it is. Defensively, we've been able to do a lot of great things. Through there you look and you like a lot of what you see, but these big plays have to come off the board. And the problem was all those were man-free. Middle of the field that has to get it down, so you catch a ball for 20 yards, it needs to get tackled. It can't go 60 and 70. And so, we got to finish on those tackles. And the good thing is we don't have a lot of other issues that are popping up, so we can lock in and focus. I watched film. It's really not anything to do with the calls. I think every call you'd call again, it just comes down to discipline and your fundamentals.
Well, there's no team that throws to running backs more than Eastern Illinois. No team. Their leading receiver last year, their running back, Devin Church. Their leading receiver this year, their running back, Devin Church. They have 9 touchdown passes, 4 to running backs, 4 to tight ends. Only 1 wide receiver has caught a touchdown for Eastern Illinois. They throw to their tight ends. Each has 2 touchdown catches. There are 2 running backs, one of them a transfer from Arkansas. He also with 2 touchdown receptions. They throw to the running backs and tight ends a lot.
Yeah, they're a big running team, and so they have a lot of tight ends that have a lot of backs, so they get them the ball on critical situations.
And this is an Eastern Illinois team that we'll break down a little bit more, but this is a team that has gone through now 3 head coaches in the last 7 or 8 years, and it doesn't really matter. I mean, they have been an elite football program in this league, and they haven't taken a step back. Last year, 7-1. Their only loss was to Jacksonville.
Yep. Yeah, they've done a great job. Ken Dammer, Coach Dammer has done a great job and has really kept up with the recruiting, and that's hard when you have turnover, but they've been able to do it. They got a national brand with some very high-profile players that play in the NFL, so that helps them in recruiting, and they've been able to put it together, and that's who we're chasing. That's who I want our program to be. I want to be, 7-1 in the conference. I want to be consistently trying to compete for a championship, and so it's a good test. See where we're at.
Well, the big brand names for Eastern Illinois are Jimmy Garoppolo, Sean Payton, the head coach of the New Orleans Saints, Mike Shanahan,
Yep.
2 Super Bowls with John Elway. Those were all quarterbacks at Eastern Illinois. That helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then the guy at Dallas, he's
Garoppolo.
not
And Tony Romo.
Tony Romo. He's not bad, but so yeah, they got that going, and that's why it's so exciting, to welcome him to Houck Stadium, and let's get after him.
I will say this: through their first 2 games that they have played, they are averaging 3,400 fans for their 2 home games. They've only had 6,800 fans through 2 home games. This is a powerhouse team in our league in football. They're a football school. You have 1 game and you had 7,600 fans there. So you have more fans in 1 game than they had in 2 games. How about that?
Yeah, I mean that's the deal with that. It's a small town. If you want to go out to eat, you got to go to Casey's, I think, and so it's rough. But we don't really have anything to do with that. But I could tell you, if we can get a good home field buzz going and all that, our players just really feed off that thing, being at home.
So your defense does a great job in the first half. You only give up 1 touchdown. This is a high-flying offense, an All-American quarterback who you didn't know if he was going to play. You didn't know how much he was going to play, how effective he was going to play, because it was an AC shoulder injury in his throwing shoulder. That can be an issue. He looked pretty good, but you contained their offense. I thought the big number in the game, they rushed the ball 26 times for 11 yards.
Yep.
That is unbelievable.
That's great by our defensive line, and I think it still came down to, that I don't know what they had. I think around 350 in the air, but 225 come of it on 3 plays. And they weren't, they were still catch and run, so it wasn't like he was throwing at 70 yards, most of them. And so it still, we have some things to clean up there, but love how our front's playing right now.
So third quarter, you come out of it. First of all, what was your message at halftime? 7-7 game. What were the marching orders for your team?
Well, it was. I think there's some frustration there because of how the play ended, or I'm sorry, how the half ended there with the timing, and so we just talked about that, and we just talked about we got to get out there and we got to be able to run the ball, stay out of long yardage situations, and then defensively don't give up the big play and keep doing what you're doing because there was a lot of good stuff out there, and get out there and let it roll.
All right, they score first in the second half. They get a long pass play, and then they set up at the 1 yard line. They bring in their backup tight end to play quarterback, a direct snap, a wildcat play. He gets into the end zone. So 4 plays, 88 yards. It only took them 1:14 because I think they had an 81-yard reception to their tight end and that particular drive. For 2, inexplicably. Now, they end up losing by 1. How shocked were you? I mean, at 13-7, I mean, if it's late in the game and you go up by 1, yeah, you go for 2 because you're going to go up by 3, being up by 1 or 2. It really does make a difference. How stunned were you that they went for 2 in that spot?
That was the play of the game. I mean, it really was. They do a fake field goal, and Michael Ford and I forget who. I think it was maybe Ryan Moore. Both those guys ran it down and made a great play, and that was, I don't know, didn't feel good about the kicker or something, but
he hadn't missed a PAT all year.
Yeah, it was a little shocking. Glad he did.
Yeah. So it just came out of nowhere. I mean, it didn't seem like the upside was so great that you want to run a play like that there.
Yeah, exactly. It was bad.
So now, do you have to hear your kicker Ryan McCrum walking around with a big head now that he caught a pass in a game? You run a fake field goal and you throw a pass out to Ryan McCrum, and he ends up getting a first down. Tell us about that play, because I think fans love trick plays. Yeah. And now, is McCrum, in your ear about, hey, I can play a little wideout, coach?
No, McCrum knows better than to come up and talk to me in my ear. So, but what a great execution by those guys. It was a deal where it just felt like it was a low risk. I don't know if you remember, but they called a timeout to ice, and it wasn't originally called. They lined up, and I was like, man, it's there. Okay, but I hadn't called it. They call a timeout, come on, and Coach Martin is our special teams coordinator. Is like, hey, let's do it. And so then we called it after their timeout to ice it. And, unfortunately, we weren't able to get any points out of it, but it was a great execution by that team. And Tyler Manny's our holder, which no one hardly did a great job throwing the ball, and it was a huge play for us.
So it comes down to the final 2 minutes of the game. You've got to have a touchdown and an extra point to take the lead. You're down 16-10, and you put together a 4-play, 58-yard drive that was capped by Jesse Hoskett's touchdown pass of 20 yards to Adrian Davis. Take us through that final drive and that final pass play from Hoskett to Adrian.
Well, that was a 2-minute scenario, and that's something that, a 2-minute drive finishing a touchdown, but there's a lot of critical plays in there. There was a 4th and 1 that we went for it and we converted, and then 2 straight long passes by Jesse. We got the protection down, and I think if we give Jesse the time, I mean, this guy can really hit hands. We just got to make sure we can give him the time, and certainly he could play better, but he made 2 really good plays. He threw a curl route that was about 15 yards, but then Tyler converted it for, probably about 10 more yards. And then Adrian ran a corner route, got behind the corner. And I don't know if he thought he'd get 12 points because he caught it twice. He
juggled it. He juggled it.
Yeah. So it was a little bit hard skipped a beat there. But, again, those guys made the plays in that 2-minute situation to go ahead by 1.
He's 6'3". He's long. He's athletic. It's the second time you've thrown to him in the end zone on plays like that. Is that something that can be in the playbook pretty regularly with him with his size advantage over a lot of smaller DBs?
Yep. In the red zone, we that's part of the plan is to get him in there, get him matched up depending on the situation. Obviously, you don't want to throw it 3 straight times and incomplete, and then have to kick field goals. So you got to have a good plan. You got to feel good with the coverage and who's covering him and the route selection, all that. But, at the end of the day, there's not a lot of 6'3" corners.
Murray's defense came in, but they haven't been very good the last 3 years. But they were good against you guys. Did they do some things different? They had 4 sacks coming in. They sacked Jesse 5 times. Short yardage was tough to come by a lot in that game. I mean, it was really hard fought on the line of scrimmage in short yardage situations. Maybe their personnel is a little better than we thought on defense.
Well, I mean, you can say whatever you want, but the film don't lie. So you got to give credit to Murray. They made the plays, and that's why I'm really going to get on our offensive defensive lines. They got to respond. Because I think, I do think Murray outplayed us there, and that should never happen, especially when we got 4 returning starters, and we got to get going in that unit.
Did they blitz more than you thought they were going to?
Yeah, definitely brought a lot of pressures, but it still came down to just personal execution. If you don't have good fundamentals and you let this guy run around you, like, what do you want me to tell you? He's sitting right in front of you, but your technique failed you, and it failed you because you didn't have the right kind of focus that you need to have.
All right, some injuries in the game. Your nose guard, Marlon Hampton, went down. He did not return. That is a very important guy on the defensive side of the football. Do we have any update on Marlon?
Just he won't practice today, and it's kind of day to day. It's not anything that'll have to be a surgery or something. So eventually we'll definitely get him back. I just he's doubtful for this weekend.
Chad Meredith is certainly one of the best linebackers in the OVC, 16th in the league in tackles last year. A unique guy at 6'5" to play linebacker. Left with what appeared to be maybe a shoulder stinger. We're no medical experts up in the press box, but we did not see him return. How about Chad?
I think he's more probable. He won't practice much today, and we'll just, as long as he doesn't have a setback or something, that we're hopeful we'll get him back for Saturday. But that was another deal. He didn't play a whole half. And that's that's one of your best players. It'd be like if Roper left a half. I mean, that's an issue. And so, hats off to Byron Wilson, who come in, and some of the other guys that picked up the slack there.
The guy that jumped out at me watching the game is a freshman named Zach Hall, Coach. Yeah. 5 tackles. He had a pass breakup. he was all over the place. I mean, he was really highly touted coming out of Louisville High School. What about Zach Hall, his first extended playing time? And, boy, he was making plays.
Yeah, exactly. I think even Roper can talk about him because he's done a good job mentoring Zach. But, I hate that we have a freshman in the two deep, but we've had some injuries and then some kids have left the programs. And I asked some kids to leave at linebacker position. So there's been a little hole there. Fortunately, we've been able to recruit well. So, he's a really good player. He's like 238 already, so he's a big kid. Great instincts. He actually, I think he had 10 or 11 touchdowns in high school. He's a great fullback, H-back type kid. Plays on one of the best programs in the state of Kentucky, and he actually wasn't highly recruited. In fact, we were the only program at a scholarship.
Wow.
But certainly glad we have him.
Male high school in Louisville. He won a 6A state title. They were ranked top 10 by USA Today in the country. So that's a really good program.
Good. Yeah, great coach there. They do a good job, and Zach's a great kid, and certainly the future looks bright for him. He came in and the stage wasn't too big. He was calm. He didn't make mistakes. Just all the things that you really like to see a freshman do.
So sometimes you don't like to play freshmen. Sometimes it pays dividends down the road. It did with Roper Garrett. It did and is with Kendall Donnerson. Those are two guys probably played before you wanted them to, and here they are, right? Yeah,
so that's the advantage of trying to get those guys some reps is eventually they grow up and, man, they're pretty good. And so that certainly happened with Zach. But I tell you what, our four linebackers and Roper will tell you, it definitely isn't just Roper. Kendall and Meredith and Terrence Hill. He don't get a lot of love or whatever. He's got big arms, little legs. So always talk about that. But he does a great job, and so we're fortunate to have those guys. But we're thin there. We have those Devin Alexander and Zach Hall and Ryder and those guys. We got to stay healthy there and also develop depth in behind those guys.
We had Kendall Donnerson on this show. 2 more tackles behind the line of scrimmage, another sack, 6 more tackles. Sometimes he looks unblockable, Coach.
Yeah, in the backfield, like he's at his best when we just in there because we don't even know what the hell is going to happen. So the offense sure doesn't. And so, he's long, plays can't, and he's fast. Like he could run things down too.
Cam Sanders got some more reps, Coach, at running back in the football game. He got 8 carries for 27 yards. Each time you get him reps in a game, are those situations where it's still learning experience for him, but a chance to really pay dividends the deeper you get into conference?
Yeah, that's what our Coach Langford, our running back coach, that's his biggest challenge. He's got 3 guys there that they're all a little different. His rotation is big, putting those players in situations that they're good at, realizing, each have different things that they may not do well. So we want to make sure they're not in critical situations there, but also, developing depth. But, it's tough, but it's good because you got 3. If you just had 1, you roll him out there and you feel good, but he gets tired and then all of a sudden you make mistakes.
Now, your first string running back, Will Young, who we've had on this show, 5th in the league in rushing, but the last 2 weeks, you can tell when he's running that ankle is bothering him. How much do you think he was compromised on Saturday? How's he coming?
It was an issue. I mean, I don't know how much, but it was an issue. It really was. So we got to get him healthy. Hopefully another week gets him, he's somewhere around 75% right now, and hopefully we'll get him back to at least 90-ish. By this weekend. All
right. Your quarterback, Jesse Hoskett, ends up throwing his first interception, but that's kind of misleading. That's a ball that got deflected about 20 feet in the air where everybody had a chance to run under it and catch it. There was another ball that was not a good throw that was intercepted, but a penalty wiped that away, so that didn't count. But that first interception, it was 130 pass attempts before he threw his first interception. Yeah. You'll take that the rest of the year, won't you?
Same thing. Like he's done a really good job with it. making decisions, and I think he'll even continue to do better. So certainly things that we want him to work on, but we love his decision making.
All right, Roper Garrett is going to join us after the commercial break. What can you tell us about coaching him? He's moving up the all-time tackles list. His next tackle will be number 300. I think he got his first career interception this year. We'll talk to him about that. Talk a little bit about what it's like to have Roper Garrett on this team, what he means to this team and this defense.
I think that the thing that I love about Roper is he wants to be great. Like, not every player wants to be great. They're okay with just being good. Like, he literally wants to be great. And so the pressure he puts on himself and his work ethic and all that is just second to none. I love his profile. He walked on. There wasn't anybody who wanted him. He walked on here. He paid us to play and earned a full ride scholarship, and is going to go down in the history as one of the best linebackers to play here. So, I mean, how cool is that? He comes from awesome stock. His parents are unbelievable. Just everything I think Southeast Missouri ought to be about is Roper Garrett.
And then his brother Ryder came into the game, got a tackle against Murray State as well. So we saw Ryder on the field a little bit.
Swag than Roper.
Okay.
That's one thing Ryder's got ahead of him. He's got a little long hair. You know what I'm saying? He's rolling pretty good, old Ryder is.
Well, we'll talk with the Redhawks all-conference linebacker Roper Garrett when we come back. We are at Wings, Etc. in Cape. It's the Redhawks Coaches Show with Coach Tom Matukewicz. We'll be back after this on SEMO ESPN.
About Wings, Etc. See, Wings, Etc. has those award-winning jumbo wings. They're popular for both dine-in and carry-out. Now, the word is getting out about Wings, Etc.'s appetizer lineup. From the ultimate nachos to the deep-fried pickle spears, frankly, they're irresistible.
Redhawks Coaches Show live from Wings, Etc. in Cape Girardeau. Welcome back, Wings, Etc. Now, if you'd like to join us for lunch, or if you can't make it today, you can make it any other day. We invite you. They've got their daily half-pound lunch specials. starting at just $6.49. So you're talking about coming out for lunch, getting some specials, cost you less than $7. They've got food and drink specials throughout the week. On Mondays, they have their 59-cent wings. They've got a very menu. So bring the kids. They've got family-friendly video games in the dining rooms. And, of course, they are open every day of the week, and they're open late on the weekends because the games run late. Don't forget, Cardinal baseball tonight. You can watch the Redbirds and the Red Legs, the Red Stockings tonight. Adam Wainwright, this is a must-win game for the Cardinals. You can watch it in high definition right here at Wings, Etc. And make this schedule note, we'll be in the Jackson Wings, Etc. location next week, so we hope you'll join us there. Roper Garrett, Redhawks All-Conference linebacker, joins us. What was on the menu for you today? I saw you over there enjoying some of the delicious cuisine here.
Well, I had to hit up the barbecue wings and the french fries, some of the curly fries.
Curly fries and french fries.
Yes, sir.
So you double dipped.
Well, no, just curly fries.
Okay, just curly fries. All right, I was going to say, man, that's you're really working the starches hard if you went curly and regular fries. So just regular straight barbecue wings. Good stuff. Now they've got I don't know. We need to ask Joe sometime how many different flavors that they have here. But man, I mean, it's almost too much to even try. You have to come in here every day of the week, start sampling stuff to see how everything tasted.
Yes, sir. I couldn't even tell you how many they have on here, but
you're from Farmington. My wife is from Farmington. You played for the Black Knights. Now, did they have the new artificial turf surface when you were playing in Farmington?
Well, we had turf, but we had really old turf.
Okay.
Like, it was like carpet turf, like playing.
Like that old Omni stuff, that Omni turf.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that stuff's no good. I mean, that's like falling on concrete, right?
Yeah.
How about now? How about going from that kind of turf, and then you come here, and now you really get state-of-the-art field turf when you come to Houck Stadium? Because when you got here, that's right about the time that they had put the new turf in, right?
Yeah. It was great, especially coming from that always tore up your skin and all that stuff. But it was a nice facility, and I love the turf that we have on our field. Turf
burns are less now with this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Well, it's I don't know if you know this, but back in 2000, that's when this new fangled turf came out. It used to be the old stuff that you guys used to have, or that used to be at Busch Stadium, in the 80s, that old Omni AstroTurf stuff. In 2000, that's when the company that made field turf really started pushing their product. They had just invented it. And of all the FCS programs in the country, SEMO was the first FCS team in the country to get field turf. So they installed that in 2000, and then they put the new turf in after they won the OVC championship in 2010. How different is it when you play on this turf versus when you go to a natural grass surface?
I mean, it's a lot different. I'd rather play on grass just because the ground gives a lot more.
Yeah.
It's less injuries, but on really good turf fields, like we just played on Murray, it seems like they just got like a new turf field there as well. I mean, it's fun to play on. I always played on turf in high school, so I was used to it, but I always like playing on grass more.
Now, how closely do you follow the Black Knights? Because they've kind of fallen on hard times lately, but man, when you were there, you guys were going deep into the playoffs. I mean, Farmington was a football power back in your day.
Yeah, all four of my years, had a lot of great athletes. Right now, I see they're struggling a little bit, but they have some good athletes there, but they have a lot of hard competition. But some of these local schools are starting to get to where we were at whenever I was there.
Well, when you were there, they ran that spread it out, throw it all over the field type stuff. They run a lot of triple option now where they don't pass the football a lot. So completely different from the style you guys played, right?
Yeah, I went watched them, I think, last year when they played Cape Central here. I went there, and that kind of offense, and I come and watch them playing triple option. I was like, oh, it's kind of like a shock to see the offense kind of like run like that. But whenever I played, that was just kind of the players we had. We had a lot of big athletes, and that's just how we beat players or beat teams like that.
Okay, you saw a little of that triple option. Shorter College, I think, ran that stuff last year. As a middle linebacker, how tough is it to prepare for the option? I mean, that's for 1 week in a system that you rarely see. Is that a quick turnaround? Is that a tough defense or a tough offense to defend at times?
Well, definitely. You're getting 5-6 guys coming at you, just trying to chop you, not even trying to block you. So you got to defend all those cuts and then make the play. And you have to have a really good eye discipline as well, because they try to do a bunch of trickery in the backfield and stuff like that. So you got to defend cuts and all this stuff and watch where the ball is going as well.
You've been a pretty durable player over the course of your career. You had the big leg injury a couple of years ago, but you have come back. First of all, tell us about that injury, about your rehab, and you're heading back to Eastern Kentucky here next week. Are you going to have thoughts of, man, I remember the last time I was in this place?
Yeah, well, it was rough. Any injury to any player is kind of rough, especially I feel like I was having a really good sophomore season, and just going down like that just kind of hurts. The kind of player I am, I just feel like letting my team down because I'm not being out there with them and stuff like that. So it's kind of hard for me, but having the great teammates that I have on the team, they kept me up and just rehab every day and got back to where I am now, and I'm pumped and ready for this season. And I really don't even think about it whenever we're going to play EKU.
When you get off the bus and you see that stadium, though, you think you'll
maybe. Right now, I'm just focused on EIU, and that's the main thing right there. Next week, then I'll focus on EKU. But
all right. Now, was it a tibia and a fibula? What was it? What was the injury?
That was just my fibula.
Fibula. So I mean, that's a broken leg.
Mm-hmm.
How tough was the rehab? And I've talked to a lot of guys that say sometimes trusting that the injury is healed psychologically, it can be tough. Other guys don't have as much problem psychologically with it. How was the rehab for you?
Yeah, well, I never had but I also did like ligament stuff to my ankle, so I had to get like screws and stuff in there, but I got them out. But just, yeah, trusting it. Feels so weird after you get all the screws and stuff out. Feels like you just have to rebuild the whole ankle over again. But after months and months of rehabbing and just working my butt off, it came back, and I'm happy where it's at right now.
All right, Roper Garrett, Redhawks all-conference linebacker. Now, you're moving into – you probably don't pay attention to this stuff. We talk for a living, so we have to pay attention to stats and things like that. But your next tackle will be 300 career tackles. Now, the all-time record is 424, so I don't think anyone's going to get there. But you got a chance really to move up high now. You have moved up to 8th place. You just passed O.J. Turner, former Cape Central star, in the all-time tackle list. You're moving in on great names like Ricky Farmer, Blake Pfeiffer. You've already passed guys like Adam Casper, who was a great linebacker here at Southeast Missouri State. How cool is that to know that you're starting to put your names among the all-time greatest tacklers in the history of this program?
It's very humbling. I really don't try to get into all that. I just focus on the process right now, and I wouldn't be able to do what I do without the D-line in front of me right now. I have a D-line right now. I don't know if like J-Dub and Marlon, these guys you're talking about. Yeah. Like without those guys, I won't be able to make the plays I'm making. So it's really hard.
What's it like to see a guy like Josh Wilson in the weight room?
You don't want to see him in the weight room. I don't think there's enough weight for Josh Wilson to lift in the weight room. That's how strong he is.
I mean, some of these guys, when they get in there, do you just think, my goodness, how in the world?
Yeah, that man, like, pressed 450 like 10 times. It's crazy.
Who's the squat king in the weight room?
Squat king, Josh Wilson. He's the bench king, squat king.
That's it.
Yeah.
Boy, he's a tough cat. For a while there last year, we thought that he had 2 torn ACLs, but he did not. And he's battled back now. And, boy, he's playing really good football for you. I mean, that just shows you how the modern technology in medicine has advanced. I mean, years ago, a guy suffered a knee injury like Josh Wilson. That may be it. Or if they do come back, they're never going to be the same type player. It looks like Josh Wilson is all the way back.
Yeah, I'll tell you that. He last year playing on what we thought was 2, but still 1 was incredible. Any player to play on that.
For those who don't know, he braced up his knee and went out and played on a torn ACL.
Yeah, it tells you the kind of guy he is, and that's awesome that he would do that for his teammates and for the coaches and for everybody else.
Now, for those who don't know, you have already finished up all of your classwork. You're going to be graduating at the end of the semester. So this winter, you'll get your degree. Now, what is your major? What is your degree in? Tell us about that.
All right, my major is corporate communications, and I have a minor in sports management. Corporate communications is just like you would use in business and stuff like that in corporates, and you go just do a lot of talking, and I think it's what's helped me out a lot. When I got into college, I hated talking, but now I've gotten a lot better at it. I'd be going up there choking, like I just hated it, but now I think it's really helped me out with like talking and personal skills.
The worst thing about when you have to give a speech in front of people is the uncontrollable handshaking. Like you try to hold a piece of paper and you got this thing going, and then sometimes you got the voice crack. You got to take water. Did you go through all that stuff?
Yeah, I think my freshman year I gave a contact. I don't think I looked at anybody the whole time.
Now, your brother Ryder is also a linebacker on the team. Had a tackle last week. Playing alongside your brother, and not only on the same team, but you guys play the same position.
Yeah, it's great. Have my brother on the team. It's like he's one of my best friends, and playing since little league. We've been playing since little league together, and middle school, high school, and college. It's just great. It's like there, and I know what he's going to do, so it's awesome when we get out there and get to play together. Sometimes I know we don't get to do that a whole lot because we play in the same position, but he's a great player, and everybody else is going to see that as well.
Okay, Roper and Ryder. Do you have any other siblings?
Well, my dad's name is Hud, and his brother's name is Judd.
See, we had to ask about, because those are not your conventional. It's not like Tom or Erik. So, what you ever get any stories behind Roper and Ryder?
Well, I'm originally born in Oklahoma City, originally from Oklahoma, and so I guess that's kind of where we got our names from, like down there in the South. But we moved up to Farmington about when I was 3 or 4. So I keep on asking them. I don't know. They keep on like not really telling me how they really got my name, but I guess I mean, I love my name, but it's cool. It sticks out, and I like that.
So Oklahoma, is your dad a Sooner fan or Oklahoma State fan?
Well, we're kind of split. I had an uncle that played at OSU, but half my family's OU fans.
Oh, no, that's blood right there, right? That's blood rivalry.
Yeah.
All right, you get ready for Eastern Illinois, and in your career, you've never beaten Eastern Illinois. This would be big for you, I'm sure. Personally, I know you want to do it for the team, but this is one of the, when you talk about the best programs in the conference over the last 15, 20 years, it's Jacksonville, Eastern Illinois, Eastern Kentucky. I mean, this is one of the blue bloods of the conference that you're playing this week.
I think everybody else on this team would say the same thing. This is a huge game. A ranked team coming into Houck and just ready to put another brick on the yard this week.
Well, you guys have put some bricks in there, especially ranked teams. They moved from 16 to 13, so they're up to number 13 in the rankings this week. This is a team that wants to line up and hit you in the mouth and run over you. They want to run the football. They've got 2 really good running backs. They'll throw it to their tight ends. They throw it to their running backs. How big of a challenge is it to play a team like this that just wants to win the line of scrimmage?
Well, with the front 7 we got, I'd say bring it on. You can ask Murray with 11 rushing yards. We're ready to come out and play. They're going to be really tough, and we know that, and we can't wait to play them.
Have you ever played with a better group of linebackers? I mean, Chad Meredith is 6'5". I mean, he's all over the place. Kendall Donnerson, just a motor that doesn't quit. I mean, you're known for your motor. Terrence Hill, who, Coach says doesn't get talked about a lot. You did a huge interception against Indiana State. He's having a great year. How about this linebacking core? Would you put that up against any other team in our conference?
Yeah, I'd put it up against almost any other team. We have really great linebackers, just freaks across the board. Like you said, like Kendall and Chad, they're so lanky and long that I know if it's an outside run that it's going to get – they're either going to make the play or it's going to get turned back to me or Terrence. And Terrence is such a great player too that he might not get talked a lot about, that Coach Tuke said, but he's a great player as well.
All right, Chad Meredith, 6'5". Can you imagine a guy 6'5" playing linebacker? Have you ever seen a linebacker that tall?
Not personally, but I love that he's on my team.
All right, so it'll be Eastern Illinois coming up this Saturday. We hope it's a big crowd. How about that crowd for family weekend you guys had against Indiana State? For those who do not hear it from a player, players feed on energy in a stadium when you're playing in front of a big home crowd.
Oh, it's huge. That's why a lot of the fans say they're the 12th man, because they are the 12th man. Without the fans, it's the cause of the disruption they do, especially defensively. Whenever the offense is out there and they're confused on what they want to run, that just makes our job so much easier. And that's why I love playing out here in Cape, because the the crowd that we get and the support in the community is so great.
Fantastic. All right, go back and enjoy your barbecue wings. Thanks so much. Best of luck the rest of the year and Saturday. All right, Roper Garrett joining us on the Redhawks Coaches Show at Wings, etc. We'll be back with Coach Tuke. Preview the Eastern Illinois Panthers, 7-time OVC champs, ranked 13th in the nation. They'll be at Hawk Stadium at 6 o'clock on Saturday night. Redhawks Coaches Show, SEMO, ESPN. Final segment, Redhawks Coaches Show at Wings, etc. in Cape Girardeau with Coach Tom Matukewicz. Stop by for their award-winning wings. They finished number 1 in the People's Choice Award voting for best wings in Southeast Missouri. You can dine in, you can carry out, and a lot more than just wings. And if you're hungry, and maybe we can make you hungry, freshly made, juicy burgers. Their wraps, subs, quesadillas, entree salads, smoked ribs, their ultimate nachos if you want to indulge in the appetizer lineup, their deep-fried pickle spears. It's all here at Wings, etc. Coach Tuke rejoins us. I'm glad we got to talk to Roper Garrett. What a good guy. What a valuable football player he is.
Yeah, and as a coach, and you think back and you coach these guys and you have a relationship with like Roper and the other guys on the team, it's just, that's what makes my job so cool. You get to hang out with these guys and, I get older, but they always stay the same age, so it keeps you young.
All right, Eastern Illinois, they score over 50 points in knocking off Austin Peay this past week. Now, second half, it was 35-28. It was a 7-point game. They played without their starting quarterback, Eastern's Mitch Kimball, who transferred from Syracuse. Now, he only played in 3 games at Syracuse, but still a guy that earned a scholarship to play football for Syracuse University. He was out. He missed all of last year, not because he transferred from Syracuse. He had back surgery last year. I know he was out last week. Austin Green is their backup quarterback. He threw for over 260 and a couple of touchdowns. I guess we really don't know who's going to be the quarterback on Saturday.
No, we've seen them play, both play, and it's schematically the same calls. They're the same kind of player, and we got to be ready for whoever they put in there. But they do a great job. I mean, offensively, they're number 3 in the country and third down. They run the ball. They're physical, but they can still throw it. And so our defense has got to be able to respond. And like I've said, we have to win the line of scrimmage, both offense and defense, or this game can get away from us. They're that good. But if we do that, then I think we have a great chance.
They have thrown to 16 different receivers. 16 different guys have caught passes this year. And the touchdowns this year have almost exclusively been to running backs and tight ends. Is that by design?
Yeah, I think because of their ability to run the ball, lot of heavy sets down in the red zone and all those things, and then they'll get a back out in the flat or try to hide a tight end out and get him out. So they just do a really good job. We got to be on point.
They're as good in terms of running backs, maybe as any team in the league, not named Jacksonville State. Devin Church, all conference, led him in receiving last year, leads him in receiving this year. He's also third in the league in rushing, only 16 carries. He ran for 139 last week. And their backup, Corliss Marshall, played 2 years at Arkansas, and he averaged 6 yards a carry for the Razorbacks. I mean, they are good at running back.
Yeah. I've taken a lot of transfers, and so they got some really good players. They got guys that earned FBS scholarships.
Even though they gave up a lot of points last week, defensively, a team had 12 tackles for loss in one game. They had 12 TFLs last week against Austin Peay.
Yeah, they're very, very disruptive. I mean, they get in the backfield, create a lot of negative yardage plays, pretty tight coverage. And so you don't get any junk yardage. Every yard you get, you earn.
They've got a defensive lineman coach that transferred from South Carolina, so he played for Steve Spurrier. His first game was Saturday, and he won Defensive Player of the Week. David Johnson, number 55, 7 tackles, 4 behind the line of scrimmage, a sack, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery. What's he look like on film?
I think what you see is a SEC athlete. I mean, he's explosive. He's not that big. He's not 320 pounds or anything, but he's very explosive. And we got to put a couple bodies on him.
And then Jarvis Williams, 91, third in the league in tackles for loss. This guy, very disruptive, won a couple of state titles in high school, fifth-year senior, transferred from Troy, had an interception last year against Tennessee Tech, 7 tackles for loss already this year.
Yeah, he was a great player last year too. We definitely remember him, and he was able to make a lot of plays on us. And they're good up front. I mean, I don't think they have, and I think they did graduate quite a few in the back end, maybe 3 or 4. And so I think they know up front is how they win football games, and they've been able to dominate. They beat Miami of Ohio, who's in the MAC, and they go to Illinois State and beat them when they were ranked number 5 after they had knocked off Northwestern. And so you can't do that without good players.
All right, what are the things you're highlighting for your team if you're gonna knock off the 13th ranked team in the country this Saturday?
Well, I went back and this morning I watched the SELA game. I watched the Tennessee State game. I watched last year's SIU game, and the thing that has come about, like we talk about this 10 strong, we have to play well in all 3 phases. Like every position group's got to do their job. We got to make plays in the kicking game. We got to make plays on offense, and we got to make plays on defense. So the bottom line is we got to do and be that 10 strong we've talked about, and then we have to be the most physical team. When we walk off that, you don't even have to ask the question. People know who the most physical team was, and we have to win that. Their
kickers are pretty average in terms of their stat. Their kicker, their punter, nothing jumps out. But their kick returners, Coach. Trey Mitchell had a 94-yard kick return for a touchdown against Murray last year. He was the 2nd leading kick returner in the league. And then the kid that transferred from Arkansas, the running back, he had a 97-yard kick return when he was with the Razorbacks against Northern Illinois. Big-time kick returners.
Yeah. I mean, they got really good athletes, and that's why I got a challenge. You may only play 4 snaps. You may be Ryder Garrett, and you start on kickoff and you start on kickoff return, but those 8 snaps might be the difference in the game, and that's my point. Hey, given our O-line a look in practice, and you're just as important as the guy that's starting. Like, we need everybody to do their job to be able to play at a level you have to play to beat a top 12 program at home. And so that's the message. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is, whether you're on work team or you're the starting quarterback, you have to bring it this week, and it comes to the preparation. Everybody's going to practice, but how are you practicing? Are you watching a film? Are you hydrating? Are you locked in on the game plan? All these little things that add up to a big team win. And, we have a chance to have this team be on our Rosen Garden wall forever in a Brickyard victory. And this is a program turning thing that if we can win this game in recruiting, everything, that opportunity there. It's not the season, but it is what it is. A huge game. And if you're a football fan in Cape Jackson right now, like, you have to be overstimulated. Fall's here, right? So you ain't out there sweating while you're tailgating. You got Cape Jackson Friday. Like, I can't get any better than that, right? And then you got the Redhawks with the top 12 program. Let's do this, right? Let's get it on.
There are 2 teams in our conference ranked in the top 15. Obviously, Jacksonville State. This is the other one.
Yeah.
So as of now, top 2 programs according to the national rankings in the league, and they'll be at your stadium on Saturday.
Yeah. So I know I'm going around. We're trying to get some students to come to the game because I know the community's going to show up, but we need you. Go be a part of it. I mean, go enjoy this fall weather, these big games, both Friday night. I know my staff and I will be at the game Saturday. Come out and support us. 6 p.m. kickoff. Obviously, we have the 4 o'clock Red Hawk Walk, which is really cool. And so hopefully you're out for that. And, just go enjoy a great college weekend.
I'll be broadcasting that Jackson Cape Central game on the radio, so I'll see you over there Friday night.
Sounds good, bro.
Thanks, Coach. That's Coach Tom Matukewicz. That's going to do it for the Redhawks Coaches Show. Don't forget, we'll be in the Jackson location next week. We've got Rosillo and Cannell coming up next on ESPN Radio. Thanks for joining us, everybody. So long from Wings.
ESPN Radio Sports Network.